Parks in the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches, the best way to experience Palm Beach County, Florida. Proudly produced in partnership with the Palm Beach County Film and Television Commission. Hey everyone, I'm Donnell McCant, and this is Parks in the Palm Beaches. On this episode, we'll show you the natural beauty of Riverbend Park, experience a Florida history lesson at Battlefield Park, and hit the beach in Jupiter for some surf fishing. It's all right here, right now, on Parks in the Palm Beaches. Today, we're in northern Palm Beach County at Riverbend Park, known for its lush landscapes, natural scenic beauty, wetlands, and the winding Loxahatchee River. Riverbend Park, located in Jupiter, Florida, has a rich history that is closely tied to the natural and cultural heritage of the area. Riverbend Park's history is a testament to the importance of preserving natural environments and cultural heritage while providing the community with a place to connect with the outdoors and learn about the region's history. The park's blend of natural beauty and historical significance makes it a unique and valuable asset in the Palm Beaches.
We have approximately 700 acres. We have 10 miles of multi-use trails, which hiking, biking, just about anything. They are ADA accessible crushed shell rock, so wheelchairs are permitted on all the trails. We have 8 miles of equestrian trails. We have a big equestrian community here in Jupiter Farms. And we have an area that folks bring their own horses that they can bring trailer in, or they also ride in from the local community. We also have approximately 5 miles of paddling trails throughout the park, not only just in the river, but there's multiple waterways throughout the park that you can travel around most of it.
The Loxahatchee River is a popular spot for canoeing and kayaking. Visitors can rent canoes or bring their own to paddle along the river. Let's hit it, Pat. At the Jupiter Outdoor Center, located here in Riverbend Park, you can start your canoeing and kayaking adventure along the Loxahatchee River.
As you go through the natural areas, the Loxahatchee River is the first designated wild and scenic river in the state of Florida. It's basically untouched from Riverbend through all the South Florida water management property, all the way through Jonathan Dickinson. It's not until you reach the town, into the town of Jupiter, that it becomes developed. So it's all wild and scenic, and cypress trees and moss hanging over, and you name it, birds, alligators, fish, and great place to paddle.
So taking that trip down the Loxahatchee River was an experience unlike any other. This is what makes Riverbend Park such a jewel here in northern Palm Beach County. Lined along the banks of the Loxahatchee River are really large cypress trees that form an enclosed canopy that keeps you nice and cool even in the summer months. When you look off to the sides of the banks on either side, you may get lucky and see a gator or two here or there, just kind of perched on the side, sunbathing. Perhaps you may even see the namesake of the Loxahatchee River, which are turtles. In fact, the word Loxahatchee means river of turtles. There are miles and miles of pristine paddling along this river, and the further in you go, it gets a little more like Jurassic Park. And if you're a bold and brave adventurer and you have about 8 hours to spare, you can actually take this river all the way out to the Jupiter Inlet. The park is home to diverse wildlife, and it's a great spot for bird watching.
This is a great place to come to see wildlife. We have a pretty healthy deer population, between 40 and 50 deer that live in the park. We see bobcat, foxes, otters, coyotes, gopher tortoises, you just about name it. If it's native to South Florida, you can see it in Riverbend and Loxahatchee Battlefield Park.
Riverbend Park offers several miles of hiking and biking trails that wind through the natural Florida landscape. You can also explore these trails on horseback. Riverbend Park is a peaceful and scenic destination that allows visitors to immerse themselves in Florida's natural beauty while enjoying the outdoors. It's a popular spot for nature lovers, hikers, bikers, and those looking to escape the hustle and bustle of city life.
Fire!
Loxahatchee Battlefield Park is a treasure trove of history, preserving the site of the Second Seminole War's last major battle in 1838. This park stands as a testament to the courage and resilience of the Seminole people and the soldiers who fought here.
The Seminole Wars are very important to our history here in Florida, and most people have never even heard of the Seminole Wars. One thing that happened in 1817 when Andrew Jackson invaded Florida, it was actually Spanish territory. It was a huge international incident, almost caused a war with Spain. But out of that, Spain realized they could not defend Florida if the United States wanted Florida, so they sold Florida to the United States in 1821. Some other things that are really important is the cities that we have in Florida that were Seminole War forts before they were cities, like Fort Jupiter, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Fort Pierce. And Miami was Fort Dallas, Tampa was Fort Brooke, and Ocala was Fort King. So all of these were Seminole War forts way before they ever thought about being cities. So a lot of things came out of the Seminole Wars that people in Florida don't understand. To me, the number one thing is that we got Florida from Spain.
The Seminole calls this land the grassy water. And the Seminole, who knows the Everglades of Florida as no white man can, has named them well.
There were actually 3 Seminole Wars from the period 1817 to about 1858. Our Seminole friends only consider it one war. They were at war with the United States government from 1817 to about 1858. So they don't recognize that there were 3 wars. Seminoles also never signed a peace treaty with the United States government, so to this day they're considered the unconquered Seminoles, and they're very proud of that fact. The Seminole Wars had many controversies and in fact have been compared to the war in Vietnam, the Vietnam War, because there were so many controversies during the time. The first controversy was, why do you want Florida? Why do you want the land? That land is useless, it's swamps and it's alligators and it's snakes and it's bugs. The land's useless, why do you want that land? The second problem was, well, why do you want the Seminoles to leave their homeland? The Seminoles always said that their fathers were buried here and this was their homeland. The Seminoles believed that the land belonged to, as they call him, the breath maker or God, and they were here just to use the land, and so they didn't have this concept of land ownership. Also, there was not just one chief over the Seminoles. When we think of Indian tribes, we usually think of like Geronimo or Sitting Bull, or those tribes that had a central chief. The Seminoles lived in clans. It was a matriarchal society. Your clan goes by your mother, and each clan kind of had its leaders. So if one clan signed a peace treaty with the United States felt like that included the whole Seminole tribe. But the Seminoles didn't see it that way. That was only for that clan, so there was controversy there. The other controversy was that the war was over, people don't realize it, but it had a lot to do with slavery. The plantation owners, particularly in the South, as their slaves would escape and come to Florida, and they would assimilate into the Seminole tribe. The plantation owners went to the federal government and said, we want our slaves back, we need our slaves back. So the war was a lot about recovering those slaves. And in fact, slave catchers would follow the army. And if you were black, whether you were freed black or born out of captivity, they still considered them slaves. So the abolitionists up north, of course, really opposed the war. There were also some controversies that occurred during the war that made it very controversial. The most famous of which, of course, was the capture of Osceola under a white flag of truce. There's rules of war, and you just don't capture somebody under a white flag. So Kayaking was also captured under a white flag. So those things really made especially the people up north feel like that, they weren't being fair to the Seminoles.
Led by their chief, they go deeper into the glades, further away from civilization and the white man with whom, after an unequal and atrocious war lasting for 7 years, they signed a treaty, only to have it violated and broken time and time again.
The federal commanders would write Washington and say, we can't win this war, because the Indians were using guerrilla warfare tactics, whereas the federal army, of course, was using Napoleonic tactics. And so it was much like Vietnam when they were using guerrilla warfare tactics. Washington would write back that We defeated Britain. We're the greatest nation on earth. We're the United States of America. And the word they would use is, we're not going to let those savages defeat us. It's really neat to be a reenactor and be able to reenact on the actual battlefield where the battle took place. That's very special to a reenactor. And it's really nice to be able to portray that history and to show people what things were like in that time period. Some of it was good, some of it was not, but it's nice to show people what it was like during that period and kind of the reason why we're here the way we are, why things turned out the way they did, and understand what happened before we came along.
The land around Loxahatchee River, where Riverbend Park is located, has a long history of Native American occupation. The Seminole and Miccosukee tribes were among the indigenous peoples who inhabited the region, relying on the river's resources for sustenance.
We're really just trying to present our history from what's been passed down generation to generation, as they say. In historical context, we didn't have written language. We spoke language. So it was important to spend time with people, to learn from them. And I tell people all the time when they meet Seminoles, if they're traditional, there's also non-traditional Seminoles who just live like modern day people. But traditional Seminoles, they're a little... And so these things that have been passed down to us about not just the land in Florida, but the people who have been here. We've seen other cultures come here. We were here when the Polynesians arrived on the shores of Florida and then left because they told us they were looking for a land of their own to call home.
Parks in the Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches, the best way to experience Palm Beach County, Florida. Nestled along the scenic coastline of Jupiter, Florida, Carlin Park is a favorite destination for anglers seeking a rewarding surf fishing experience. With its easy beach access, diverse marine life, and stunning ocean views, this location offers a perfect blend of relaxation and fishing excitement. Carlin Park's sandy shoreline and rich ecosystem make it an excellent spot for targeting a variety of saltwater fish species. The area is known for pompano, snook, whiting, jacks, bluefish, and croakers that frequent the surf zone, especially during peak fishing seasons. The combination of warm waters and abundant bait fish makes this location ideal for both seasoned anglers and beginners looking to try their luck. It starts with knowing the tides and reading the surf. The best time to fish is during an incoming tide when the bait fish are pushed closer to the shore. Using the right bait, like sand fleas or shrimp, can make all the difference. And the right gear can make all the difference. A 10 to 12 foot surf rod with a spinning reel spooled with 15 to 20 pound test is ideal. This allows you to cast beyond the breakers where the fish are feeding. Remember, always check local fishing regulations to ensure you're following size and bag limits. Conservation is key to maintaining these incredible fisheries for future generations. Whether you're an experienced angler or just starting out, Carlin Park is a must-visit fishing spot and one of the most beautiful parks in the Palm Beaches. Pack your gear, check the tides, and get ready for a memorable fishing adventure. Tight lines,